And thank you, Kathleen, for that lovely reading. If there's a more famous soliloquy, I don't know what that would be. That was, of course, from Hamlet. And in this piece, Hamlet has had a rather rough time. As we say in New Thought, he's had a challenging week. His father was murdered by his brother, Hamlet's uncle. His mother married that uncle. His father's ghost is demanding justice. Somebody is trying to poison him, and his girlfriend is emotionally disabled. Hamlet's not sure what to do about any of it. He is so indecisive, he just doesn't know which way to turn in anything that he's doing. He's extremely depressed. And in a moment of existential angst, wonders whether it would be better just to, whether to live through all that drama, try to work it out, or kill himself and just be done with it. Has anybody ever been there? Well, not having a king in your life and all that. But just wondering, where do I go in my life? What do I do? Where do I turn? But he decides he's too afraid to do anything about it. To do more than just think and ruminate about it. That soliloquy is so brilliantly written by Shakespeare. Not a wasted word or phrase, even if we have to kind of translate it a little bit sometimes into our language. But you did it so well, and we got a full comprehension of what you were saying, so thank you. You're really talented in that way. Shakespeare is tapping into a very deep question that we all have. What is beyond this earthly realm? And at times, as awful as can be here, is there really as he called it, an undiscovered country? As he calls the other side. Hamlet's saying that dying is a really long sleep. But who knows what terrible dreams may pop up during this sleep. And it makes him think that, the problems that we have over here, or what he's going through over here, may be worse over there. So I might as well stay here and deal with it in whatever way we can. Our great teacher Jesus said, "In my Father's house there are many rooms." In other words, there are many levels of consciousness in this universe. And that our lives didn't begin here and it doesn't end here on this planet, thank God. When you look through the course of your life, there are wonderful things that happen and there are other things that have been very challenging. And so we wonder, is this really it? As Peggy Lee said, is this all there is in life? All this drama and all this stuff going on, and what does it really mean and what does it add up to? My work here and your work here is to remember that no matter what the problems in life are, I have a way of reawakening myself, of remembering my divinity, the power inside of myself, the truth of my spiritual nature and my oneness with God, to see me through anything and everything that I'm challenged by. And that when we're finished on this place, on this planet, we know that every challenge I had, I was able to allow the love and wisdom of God within me to bring me to a perfect solution. At least I was able to be open and receptive to hearing it. Now, certainly we go through things that are easier. We are more open and receptive sometimes to certain things than we are to others. But our great teacher said, I myself know nothing. I don't know anything about what's going on here. But Spirit within me does, and it's revealing in the still small voice what I need to know, what I need to do, and how to do it. My own brain cannot figure it out. My brain is not that bright. No matter how intellectual we might be, we look outside of ourselves, and we start adding things up, and we add them up always wrong because we're not getting the full truth, just from outside of ourselves. So how do we then let this information from within come forth? Well, we have some healing work to do first. And I want to share with you a simple 3-step process that I've been using to help open ourselves up to this wonderful, wonderful voice inside. The first step is to release resentment. The second step is to begin repenting. Oh dear, that word. I'll get into that in just a minute. And number 3 is move on to debugging. So we have a process of releasing and accepting the good that we have. And we have to begin by letting go of our resentments. Resenting someone or something like your abusive childhood or your unsuccessful marriage, your boring work, whatever it might be, simply doesn't work. To resent it doesn't mean you're healing, it just means you're driving it deeper into your consciousness. It doesn't make our lives better over time to feel negative about what we went through or what we are going through. Resentment takes the divine power of creativity within us and turns it into poison, because the energy has been turned within, and we're destroying our own lives through this feeling of anger and bitterness. So it doesn't help us deal with the issue, it magnetizes the challenge, it draws it to us, and it locks it in. The word resent means to resend. To resend the anger back to me. I'm putting it out there, but anything I put out there is going to come back to me. That's the nature of how we are, of who we are. So we send it out, it comes back. We send it out, it comes back magnified. Any divine energy we use negatively is going to hurt us more than anybody that we are angry at. Now, others may be upset or angry with you, but you and I are the only ones damaging ourselves. I'm damaging myself by being angry, by being bitter, by being resentful. These angers, these resentments stew inside of us in stomach acid, and we churn it over and over and over, and our hearts get overwhelmed by it. We're replaying old fights in our minds over and over, churning and churning, to the point where we do not feel well, our lives are not working, and we wonder why. We have to quit telling ourselves we're a victim here and that we are a divine being of light, love, peace, and joy, and that I can overcome anything. I counseled somebody years ago, and I couldn't get this person beyond her anger at life. She came in for other issues, career issues, relationship stuff, but her anger at life was spewing everywhere. She came in with the anger, and I was drained before she even sat down. She had that much anger going on. She wanted an affirmation or a technique to help her with the issues that she was going through, but she wasn't willing to work on releasing the anger first. I told her you have no room for anything else because your anger is so omnipresent. She didn't really think that was an issue, and as a matter of fact, she said, I need my anger to keep going. It was such a part of herself she couldn't imagine not being angry. And so I invited her to do some work because I said, you really can't do anything unless you let this go. And she left angry. In other words, she left as she was. Behavioral scientists now tell us that the negative energy emitted from one person creates a damaging effect to our immune system and everybody 30 feet around that person. Anybody work in a small office and have somebody like that? Oh, yes. Yes. One pessimist or Debbie Downer can affect a whole office, bring it down so quick. Your body, your soul knows that this person is literally toxic to your being. And if that person's you, stop it. Knock it off. You don't have to do that anymore. You're resending that energy to your cells, your brains, and everybody around you. So not only are you bringing yourself down, you're bringing them down, and then the whole energy of the room is lowered. And returning your spiritual growth as well. Stop resenting, stop resending, and begin repenting. Now, that's such an evangelical word, isn't it? Those of you who grew up in a church like that may be sweating a little bit right now. But literally, the word repent just means to rethink. Repent. Pent is from the root word pensive, thoughtful. So we think, what am I doing with my life? I go back and say, what is going on? What is not working in my life? What am I thinking about that is making me angry or sad? What am I thinking about that my life is not working in the way that I want it to? We get pent up when we fill our heads with thoughts that are not helpful or are creating anxiety within us. So if your life is anxious, if your life isn't working, repent, rethink. What am I doing in my life? Why is this not working for me? Who am I? What am I doing here? Do I make the place a better place? Do I make this planet a better place? Or am I bringing doom and gloom everywhere I go? Am I bringing joy or am I bringing anxiety? I was chatting with a friend recently. We were talking about a certain challenging person that we both know. And he said, you know, she brings joy whenever she goes. So true. It's so true. We all know somebody like that. They leave the room and they go, oh my gosh, I am so great. So do my resentments make life hell for me and everybody around me? The new thought, the repented idea, if you will, is now I can be a peace bringer here. I can be a loving presence for everybody, and myself included. I can change my thinking about this situation, these people, my reactions to what's going on. I could be a healing light instead of a dark cloud of pessimism. No matter what you may think about one particular candidate or all the presidential candidates, no one has ever gotten elected by creating a Stop Them campaign. Do you know that? We know there's one particular candidate. We have to stop this candidate. It's never worked. Because that's negative. In fact, it only adds to their power. We know that to be true, don't we? Be for the person that you want. Lift that person up in the way you can. Be positive for your candidate and take your power away from hating or despising the other. Mother Teresa would never attend an anti-war rally. She never went to an anti-war rally, but she went to many peace rallies. She said, I won't go to an anti-anything, I will go for something. When there's love present, she said, I will be there. If it's something against, even though the something against is good, I will not be there. Huge difference. Or huge difference. So rethink your life plans. Rethink and hold on to what you do want. Focus on what you do want and let go of what you don't. Remember, what you focus on grows. Because what you're looking at, what you're giving your attention to, is becoming your life. So the third step is debugging. In his book, Buddhist Boot Camp, I love the title of that book, the author Timber Hawkeye, that must be a stage name. Timber Hawkeye talks about a retreat that he took in Hawaii a couple of years ago. He said it was the most beautiful place he had ever been in, but the hut that he was in had the most hideous and scary insects. And he was extraordinarily afraid of insects and crawly things. Always had been since he was a kid. He was so looking forward to his Buddhist sanctuary in paradise. And he ended up, he said, a couple of days later in a fetal position in his very buggy hut, feeling things were crawling over him even when they weren't. He finally went to his host and said, there's a scorpion-sized spider in my bathroom. There are crickets and centipedes everywhere. Bees, frogs, and God knows what are crawling all over me. I'm grateful to be here, but I think I have to leave. And these very wise Buddhist teachers lovingly shared with him that perhaps he needed a new story. That maybe they weren't invading his space, but he was invading theirs. Who was here first? They asked him. Find your oneness with them. Live in harmony with all life around you. There's nothing or no one against you. They recommended that he name the bugs. Name them all. Give them all a name. And they would become someone rather than something. So Timber named the bugs Richard the centipede, Maya the bee, Gordon the fly. So he had all the names for all these bugs around him. During the week, he saw and encountered more insects and crawly things, he said, than he ever hoped to in his life. But they no longer bothered him. In fact, he got that his thoughts and feelings were given to him by his mother, who had the same thoughts and feelings. During his meditation, he found the page in his mind. He opened the book in his mind, and he found the page written early that said, bugs are bad. He mentally rewrote it. He erased it, and he wrote, all sentient beings are equal. And he found a healing. Timber tells of visiting home not long after that retreat and having a nice chat with his dad. And as he looked down, he saw a spider crawling on his hand. And he looked at it, he said, hi, little guy, are you lost? He went outside, put his hand down, and jumped off and walked on the grass. He came back in to continue talking with his dad, and his father looked at him completely in shock. Who are you? What have you done with my son? Timber writes, our beliefs are merely stories in our minds that we ourselves wrote long ago. Scan your mind for viruses called fear, anxieties, judgments, doubts, hatred, and despair. And put a little note next to them that says, outdated, no longer valid. Rewrite your script. Rewrite your story in your mind. Quit resenting. Rethink what you're here to do, who you are, and why you're on the planet. And debug. Get rid of the fears. They are not serving you, and they're not even real. You and I have the power to choose what we will keep and what we release. Like all the stuff that keeps us resenting what did or didn't happen, all that was years ago. That already happened. Quit living back there. It's gone. Done. Take a new thought, a new idea of life, love, joy, peace, success, abundance. Change your mind. Rewrite your belief page. Choose another way. Choose to live your best life. It's waiting for you and it's waiting for me. And it will happen when we get excited about it. Take a breath.